Hi, I'm Whitfield AP. Thanks for joining us this week for the Mutual Minute. With me today is John Randall, Director of Operations for the ICI for dealers. John, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself, Whitfield?
Doing great, doing great. So, in our virtual lives, we don't get to sit around and talk about this at the ICI GMM, so we're going to bring it here. T+1. It's a pretty big movement for the industry over the next few years. Risk reduction involved, but alignment with other securities as well as the securities within the portfolios. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's something that the Institute we are taking seriously, and we're partnering with the DTCC as well as with SIFMA. And the idea here is, we work to represent both the registered investment companies, but also the shareholders. So anytime that we can pull risk out of the equation or achieve operational efficiency, we're benefiting both of those contingencies. The big thing that we see here is the alignment of the portfolio activity to the activity for settlement for the RIC products themselves. So in that case, with the extra day of settlement in the T2 environment, there's still an opportunity for that to be mismatched, and the portfolio manager has to take that into consideration when they're trying to manage their cash efficiently on behalf of their investors, make sure they're not getting an excessive drag on the performance of the investments on behalf of those investors. So you have that piece of it. We think it also streamlines things from just a pure operational standpoint. So, you can align things, you can automate things, you can lower the actual cost to run the investment product, in this case, a RIC. And then when you have volatility, narrowing the window also narrows your window in terms of being exposed to that volatility. So it lets you close the books on a set of trades, even when you are in a more volatile market. So those are the primary ways we think that it can help the industry. Oh, and by way of correction, just so you know, I represent the bank, trust, and retirement community in my role, and my colleague handles the broker-dealer community. But we work hand in hand. So
I also think it's going to be interesting how the fund-of-funds portfolios may evolve to include more assets with better alignment with the settlement cycles. I know that's been a hindrance to expand the types of securities that have been within fund-of-funds because of that misalignment. What are your thoughts?
Agreed. But I think you raised one of the things that is a benefit that we can get to. And I think there was some benefit when we went from T3 to T2 a few years ago. But, one of the things we're at right now, the partnership with SIFMA and DTCC, the working groups are looking at, these are all good things. We've identified what it will do, but there's a sort of a reality check here. It's not going to be easy. There are a lot of operational and logistic considerations to this. Fund of funds is one that you mentioned. Once we get there, I think it'll help the fund of funds products, but getting there will require quite a bit of getting in the weeds. And you think about the other things that need to be adjusted. Do you have securities lending, and do you need to do callbacks? There's a lot of mechanics there in the custody world that need to be addressed. And those will be what the working groups will be working on next in 2022. How do we really get through those, like we did with the T3 to T2 initiative?
It's probably the only time in life I can say to somebody in Washington, I have a small army of folks in South Georgia ready to tackle this, with them saying that's a good thing.
Exactly.
But we're consuming it all. We're just like you guys. We're trying to look at where do all the tentacles reach and how to effectively move in that direction. But I think there's also a long-term alignment. We have digital assets here today. They're settling in real time. The norm for the current generations is immediacy. I sold something on eBay. I literally paid for the postage, got a QR code, went to the post office, scanned it, and I was in and out in a minute. That's the expectation. So eventually we have to get there. So, T2 to T1, and eventually, when it makes sense, we'll have to move again. But thanks for joining me today and giving me your thoughts on it. And I think it's going to be successful because this industry's got a lot of great quality professionals to really think through it and make the right decisions and get it done.
Agreed. I think it's a worthwhile initiative, and with the people that are out there putting technology to play in the marketplace and making things possible, we can get there where we maybe couldn't have 10 or 15 years ago. We definitely have better options and better tools now. But it was great talking with you today.
It's great talking with you as well. And for everybody listening in today, I hope you join us next week for the Mutual Minute. Thanks.